What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up with y'all, man? Thank y'all again for coming through. Let me get my lighting up real quick. Um, Hopefully everybody's day is going fine, and yes, and yes, that's about it. Yes, the lighting is a little better. Perfect. Alrighty. So we're having a little lecture on basically, is everything a lie? Because basically, I'm not gonna go too deep into it right now, but long story short, if we're being lied to about basically what we're in or where we at, basically the world, Earth, um, everything else is a lie. If that's to me, that's the only reason why I truly looked into it and kind of went a little crazy because I look at it like this. If that is a lie, if it is, I'm not saying it truly is, but if it is, you have to take into the account that everything else is a lie. If the place that you think you're in, the place you're at, if you find out that that's a lie, you have to question everything. Everything else is on the table. At that point, everything else is on the table. Anything that you have ever imagined, you could ever fathom, it's on the table. Point blank period. So I'm not going to talk too much. We're going to jump straight into it. Here we go. And this is a podcast from my man Eddie Bravo. I don't even know if he's still doing his podcasts anymore, but this is from like 3 years ago. But this is a great teacher, one of the great mentors. Eric Dubay will be on the show on Eddie Bravo, and we just want to jump straight into it.
I want to introduce Eric Dubay. Eric, explain the timeline of the flat Earth and when and how and why did we go? Like you said, it was flat Earth for forever, and then we switched. It was Copernicus, right? We switched, and then talk about because most people think only dumb people think the Earth is flat. When back then. Correct me if I'm mistaken, but there was like this, the philosophers of the time and the scientists of the time. They were going back and forth with the flat Earth, the geocentric model versus the heliocentric model. It wasn't like there was
Okay,
a
let him break it down. Let him break it down.
Yeah, I've got the timeline
Listen.
history of flat Earth on my channel. You can watch that extrapolated completely. But for now, quickly, nobody thought the Earth was a spinning ball until 500 BC or so when Pythagoras came up with it. And for the next few hundred years, other Greek philosophers toyed with the idea and wrote about it. Aristophanes, Plato, Aristotle. And then it disappeared for another 2,000 years. Nobody talked about it. Nobody believed it. There's no record of anyone
Let me make sure.
writing books about it, anything like this, until 1543 when Copernicus came out with his book, and then suddenly it became a big topic, and
Maybe like that.
Kepler and Galileo and some of these other people coming in and giving their quote-unquote proofs for the spinning ball Earth slowly but surely became the mainstream model up until about the 1800s, when actually there was a flat Earth resurgence, when a bunch of flat Earth scientists started doing experiments and printing books and newspapers and other things during lectures. And so it was a hot topic of debate around the turn of the 19th century. And then, of course, with Einstein's relativity theory, which is a philosophy that basically banishes everything to ultimate relativity. So there can't be any motionless thing in the universe, like they said the Earth was. And then eventually you get into NASA with the moon landings, and nowadays they've got all these fake CGI pictures you're talking about, which everyone believes are real. So most everybody thinks that the Earth is a spinning ball now, and it's really just been a long-term propaganda.
Okay, so pause that real quick before he even jump into that. Um, put this on the table before we even get full into this conversation. There is no real actual photo of Earth. It never has been. All of those photos are fake. Any photo you ever seen on Earth is fake. It's CGI. This is deep, and that's one thing that made me really start looking to this thing too. That we don't have one official picture of the Earth. So he's gonna keep on going into details on some things, but bear with us.
Campaign over the past 500 years, which, when you look into it, has been spurred by and maintained by Freemasons. Freemasonry, the oldest and largest secret society in the world, with over 5 million members in almost every country in the world.
So basically, when he says that, he's saying that because everything connected to a spinning Earth concept of the world connects to Freemasonry or being a Mason. All of NASA is Freemasons. Literally anything that has to do with that spinning ball theory is a Mason. Literally, they probably came up with it. Literally, it's that deep.
You find that Copernicus and Newton and Galileo, right up until modern day, the astronauts, almost every astronaut that claims to have gone into outer space or walked on the moon, is publicly known as a Freemason. So it's the same
That's
group
a
of people who's
wow.
been promoting this idea for the past 500 years. So that's another red flag, as Eddie was talking about. There's so many red flags when you find out that the original moon landing footage has all been erased. They can't find it. And the telemetry data can't find that. Things that
Wow.
actually confirm these things to be true. They can't find those. The moon rocks have now come out to be fake. When you look into these things, it's completely obvious, as Eddie said, that the moon landing is a complete hoax. And then you got to ask, well, why would they do that? And when you look at the history of flat Earth, and you see that the moon landing hoax allowed them to hypothetically get away from their ball Earth to take a picture of it, that is the main reason for the moon landing hoax, is to perpetuate, to continue propaganda as to this spinning ball, Big Bang evolution cosmology that they've come up with, where you're nothing, you're just a speck of dust in an infinite universe that came about from a random Big Bang accident with no consciousness or life involved, and then suddenly, somehow, out of nothing, consciousness, life, diversity, nature, everything that you see around you just came into existence through slow evolution of cold, hard matter, and then somehow consciousness and life comes into it. So they have this whole materialist philosophy that they've been trying to inculcate the world into.
Right.
The spinning ball Earth is just part of it. As I'm saying, it gets into
Right.
evolution and Big Bang and all this other crap. And the idea is to make you believe, well, first of all, the idea is to have you stop trusting your own senses, your own experiments and experience, and to instead trust these authority figures who are giving you information, giving you pictures and videos and saying, this is the truth, trust us, instead of trusting yourself, which using your own devices and your own methods, it's easy to prove that the Earth is not a spinning ball. I have a book called 200 Proofs the Earth is Not a Spinning Ball.
I highly recommend this book. Matter of fact, you can listen to it on YouTube. You can look up either Eric Dubay page. Eric Dubay. Dubay is DUBAY. Dubay is his last name. Eric is spelled ERIC. You can look it up. 200 proofs that the world is not a spinning ball. He first of all is more than 200 proofs that the world is not a spinning ball, but that's not the fact. The point is when you get like to number 20, to like the 20th proof, you're just like in your mind, you're so warped because there's so much proof that the world is not a spinning ball. At like number 20 in your mind, you're like, okay, I get where this is going. Already, like you don't even have to listen past 20. You could if you would, if you want to. I suggest it. But most people in their mind, they're gonna hear so much. It's gonna swoop their mind like it just. But more of the story is Eric Dubay is really he's ahead of his time, and he must be protected at all costs. And more of the stories that Eric Dubay is like one of the fathers in terms of bringing this to light and just having so many details, behind this. So look up Eric Dubay in his book with 200 proofs that the world is not a spinning ball. That book is phenomenal. That work has. I know it took him so much research and so much time. So please, pay attention to that. Look into that.
Everyone can check out. And you can see for yourself. I mean, NASA doesn't even claim to have 200 proofs that we live on a spinning ball. The most you'll ever be able
Wow.
to find is 10. They never felt the need to try to come up with more than 10 supposed proofs that you live on a spinning ball. And in my book, I debunk all 10 of those, and I give you 200 of the opposite reasons why we're obviously not moving. We're motionless, just as you said. We're sitting here doing this podcast. You don't feel like you're spinning around an axis at 1,000 miles per hour
No,
around the sun at 66,600 miles per hour, while the sun is
relaxing.
also moving. So it's not the heliocentric theory anymore. Now it's the acentric theory because they don't know what the center of the universe is. So the sun is also traveling 500,000 miles per hour around the Milky Way galaxy, and the Milky Way galaxy itself is shooting millions of miles per hour off from that Big Bang that they say
That's
happened
crazy.
14.7 billion years ago. They know exactly how long ago it happened too. They can make up these huge
Who computed
distances
that?
to the stars and these huge numbers of how far things are and how these timelines, because it's bullshit, because they just make it up. It's been getting longer and longer as they go. If you look,
Like I've always wondered that. Like, how do they know how far we are from Venus? Like what? Like think about that. How do you know the distance from here to Saturn? And then you telling me it's light years. You never even traveled one light year ever. Like think about that. Logically, you're telling me that that thing over there is 4,052 light years away, right? You never traveled one light year. How do you know what one light year is? Like, we've never really sat down and said, oh shit, he just said that. Like, we've never really sit there. This is why I love Eric Dubay, and this is why I say he's really ahead of his time, and he's really such a blessing. He really is. Shout out to Eric Dubay. But the point of this conversation is that until Eric Dubay really came out, I've never really asked myself simple questions. It's just simplicity. It's very simple. Everything is very simple. How would you know what 4,200 light years is if you never traveled one light year? You don't know what one light year feels like. You don't have no evidence of you traveling one light year. But yet you're telling me that that thing over there is 6,000 light years away. Wow, this is really a really interesting conversation. I'm gonna keep on letting Eric Dubay go. Matter of fact, I'm not even gonna pause it no more. It's just to me, it's mind-boggling. It really is. When you just sit down and just look simplicity. Just sit down and just ask yourself simple questions. Stop thinking about what people taught you or what you've learned in life. Forget that. Ask yourself simple questions.
look at Copernicus's figure for how far away the sun supposedly was in his model, it was only a bit more than 3 million miles away. But then you go to Newton and it was up to 26 million, and you keep going. At one time it was over 104 million, and then they brought it back down to 93 million right now. That's where we're at now. But flat earthers throughout the centuries, as Eddie said, have measured using sextants and plane trigonometry from different points all over the plane and found out that the sun is very close and very small. It's like a spotlight that illuminates over the plane. About 3,000 miles above us, about 30 miles in diameter is what you get from using these actual measurements that we can do without having to trust these random scientists and their random theories. I mean, do you know how they say that they come up with the distances to the stars? The stars, they figure out how far away they are by taking a star up to a little color chart and determining how blue it is or how red it is. And they say, oh, it's blue shifting. It's blue shifting at this rate, so we know that it's this many light years away from us. Light years, another Star Trek term they came up with to make things that are trillions and trillions and trillions of miles away, supposedly, sound more plausible. So again,
I was just saying that.
it's magic, you know. Oh, it's 10 trillion light years away, and we know because of the gradient of the blue on the redshift on our little color scale. Yet you can, with a telescope or with a zoom camera, with your own eyes, look at any star any night and notice every single color of the rainbow and watch it fluctuate through all colors like a pulsating disco ball. So for them to claim that they're able to gauge star distances based on color, this is just par for the course of the kind of pseudoscience that they feed you with a capital S, calling it science.
I'm already convinced. So I mean, since I already have done my research and I already get past this point of, I do believe the Earth is somewhat flat, from what we can see. But I have a couple questions. One, so what? So the stars are just light. They're not. They're just like when you look through telescopes. Because people say when I start talking about this, they're like, wait, when I look through a telescope, I can see the Saturn.
Why you
the
put his
rim,
voice
the
like
Saturn
that?
thing. So explain to the people what they are looking through the telescope, or if those photos on the internet are not even real photos. Can you look through a telescope and see the rim around Saturn?
There's a halo and a light around the sky, so the world must be a spinning ball, is their argument. Yeah, you can see a little halo of light around Saturn in a telescope. But Saturn itself and all of the other wandering stars, which are now called planets, the ancients differentiated the stars only as fixed or wandering, because the fixed stars, you can see they maintain their relative positions to one another night after night, century after century, thousands of years. Polaris has been exactly above the North Pole, and all of the other fixed stars revolve perfect circles around Polaris, staying in their constellations night after night. Yet supposedly we're spinning around the sun while the sun spins around the galaxy, and the galaxy shooting off through the universe at those speeds that I mentioned earlier. If that was actually the case, then the night sky would never be the same 2 nights in a row. It would never come back around. Or if you did, it would be millions of years, whatever. You wouldn't be able to have constellations. You wouldn't be able to track these things the way that we are. The only way that you can do it is because we're not moving. Everything else over our heads, all those lights in the sky that look like they're moving over us, they're doing exactly what it looks like they're doing. They're moving over and around us. We're not moving. You look at the sun move over and around us, and then you see the moon come following a similar path and a similar speed. But NASA tells you that moon
Hold
is
on.
rotating around us.
Hold on. I gotta rewind that back. That hold on. That was a body bag. Did you hear? Hold on. You gotta hear what he just said.
For us, they're doing exactly what it looks like they're doing. They're moving over and around us. We're not moving. You look at the sun move over and around us, and then you see the moon come following a similar path at a similar speed. But NASA tells you that moon is rotating around us. But this Earth we stand on, is rotating around the sun. But you can see for yourself that it's not the case. Just like you can feel for yourself that we're not moving. Just like you can see that the horizon is perfectly flat. Just like you know that water always finds its level, and Earth is 70+% water. You know that water can't conform to the exterior of a shape. If you put a shape in some water, it doesn't show up on the outside. So how could the Earth be a sphere, or an oblate spheroid, or a pear, or whatever NASA has decided that it is these days? So when you look up at the stars or the planets, they're all just flashing little lights in the sky. Whether you use a telescope, your eyes, a zoom camera, what it doesn't look like is these CGI ball planets that you always get, like Eddie was talking about, from the Nova and the BBC documentaries, where you get these close-up, high-def detail of these ball planets up there. No matter how good of a telescope you look through, all you're going to see is a very plasmic, watery light, water mixed with light flashing disco ball effect with all the different
Mm.
stars and planets. Now to see that and to think, oh well, that means I'm on a spinning ball just makes no. It's a logical fallacy, first of all, and second of all, you can see that these things are not physical, tangible things that anyone would be able to land on. For instance, the moon, you can see blue right through it during a waxing and a waning cycle. Stars have been seen through the moon. You can see the blue of the sky or stars that are behind it. So how could it possibly be a solid object that people could land on when we can see through it for yourself? Anytime the moon is in your vantage point during an afternoon, you're going to be able to see it. And the way that it fades off, it's nothing like a physical object that we know of. So you don't have to ask me if it's flat or is it round. I don't know what the moon is. I don't know what the sun is. But I do know that the earth is flat. 200 plus proofs for that. I heard Eddie say that there's no proof the earth is flat. I don't know. Well, I do know. I'm absolutely sure the earth is flat. And if you check out my channel, check out my websites, I've proven it over and over and over again. It's the one thing you can know for sure in this lifetime is that the earth is absolutely flat and motionless. It is the most easily proven conspiracy, and that's why it's taking the world by storm, as one of the other panelists said earlier, is because it's so easily proven. It's not like the JFK assassination where you could, like Eddie was saying, you could spend your whole life trying to look into that and trying to figure out the ins and outs of it. And it's easy to find out that was a conspiracy, that it is not the way that they told us it was. But to find out exactly what it is, that's difficult. But with flat Earth,
I ain't gonna carry on too long.
You can perform experiments yourself anytime
He
you
murdered
want to.
that.
People are doing it every day. There's YouTubers, Facebookers, all over social media that are doing.
He murdered that. With that being said, that was just for me. Wow, that was crazy. I mean, for me, you know, understanding that could actually be, a actuality, because I hate to say reality. I feel like reality is just a mindset. I think actuality is the actual predicament the world is in. So it goes deep. I think what I would suggest is that, you look into this heavenly, and it's not about changing your mind about things. I just feel like it's really about having a perspective where, you can actually think, and you're not just being taught something, or you're not just be given something, and you're just like, oh, okay, well, this is what I learned, and this is what I got, and this is what it is. You can actually have a great conversation, a great observation of the totality of a situation. And I think shout out to Eric Dubay. I'm gonna definitely tag him. You need to definitely go to his page. Wonderful guy. Um wow. That's real. That's really deep, because I feel like I said in the beginning of this video, if you find out this is a lie, and you really dig deep into this, you realize so much other things and so many other possibilities could be lies. And I think that's where the conversation really gets deep, for this particular situation. That's why I really pretty much even hate to bring this up in, conversations, because it always extends to other conversations. And for me, it's a real touchy subject. It's not just a situation where you could just, walk up to a person and say, oh, you're a flat earther, or do you believe in da, because then it, extends. But for the most part, thank y'all so much, for blessing me with your attention, and giving me your opportunity to fill you in with some information, some education. Hit the Cash App, like, share, and subscribe. Thank y'all so much. And uh what's up, Sugar? What's up, Sugar? Yeah, we definitely need to team up. I would love to team up with Miss Rod. Definitely. Where's she at, matter of fact? But yeah, this was definitely a beautiful presentation. Thank you again, Eric Dubay. Eddie Bravo, if y'all could subscribe to him as well. He's the person that actually he's a comedian, but he actually filled me in with a lot of things in terms of like how the flat earth is a community kind of thing. It's not just necessarily a thing where people just running around saying, "Oh, I believe in this, I believe in that." It's a big community of flat earthers that actually believe that they have enough evidence to actually compete with real scientists, and I would say they do. And that's a conversation for another day. I'm not even gonna drag on too long. But thank y'all so much for everything. God bless. Be safe. Spread the word. Like, share, and subscribe. And oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Sugar, please, please. Let me know which one you're doing. And I could probably commentate it with you. We could probably do that together. But thank y'all so much for being here, and I'm signing out. All right, Sugar. Just let me know. And matter of fact, Sugar, just post a thumbnail or whatever, and I'll just I'll see whenever it's linked or whatever. All right. Thank y'all again. Thank